The Buffalo Bills won against the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-24. Look at that. Never a dull smile in this room. I knew you'd smile when I talked about the Bills winning football games. And look, this was a wild fourth quarter, an insane fourth quarter, back and forth. To me, this was one of the wildest games of the week, not because I just like the Bills, but this was just insane. Josh Allen, to me, this is how I take Josh Allen in this game. He didn't have to play hero ball. He didn't have to play Josh Allen, the alien, like we've seen at multiple times in his career, although he had some great statistics, 273, 1 touchdown. He also ran 2 touchdowns in. He didn't have to be the alien. He just had to give what the team needed. And there was multiple times when I watched this game and rewatched it in the condensed form this morning, he was taking what the defense was giving them, driving down the field, and then I think he was just incredible. Overall, I think Josh Allen, everybody likes to keep talking about this narrative that if it's not this year, then when, because there's no, Mahomes or whatever the case may be in this playoff. Well, whatever that narrative is, he just proved that he can take care of business because that Jaguars team is no slouch. They were great this season. This was at home. This was a tough rivalry if you look at past things between the Jaguars and Bills in playoffs. And the Bills, for the first time since 1993, have won a road playoff game. They're moving on.
I want to ask you. I mean, I've got my own analysis on this game, but I got to talk a little bit and get up on my soapbox about the Patriots. How do you feel about this? I mean, you're a big Bills fan. This has been a long time coming. It feels like maybe they've got something here. Can they make a push for the Super Bowl? Like, how did it feel to finally watch them get a victory?
The defense was iffy, a little iffy. Don't get me wrong. They had some great turnovers.
So 2
interceptions were great. But I mean, they had some issues on defense. Parker Washington was an issue. 100 yards receptions. Travis Etienne, 154 yards total rushing for the Jacksonville rushing game. Etienne only had 67, but it was incredible. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think he played okay, but I think Trevor Lawrence didn't have his best game. I think there was multiple times. If you go back and watch this football game and you try to watch it from a clear lens, no bias, I personally think that Jacksonville lost this game more than Buffalo won it.
That's valid. That's definitely valid. So I'm interested that that's your response because it's not very excited. It's more like cautiously optimistic.
Don't get me wrong. Very excited. Very excited they're moving on because at the end of the day,
what's it feel like? And you were like, the defense didn't play very well. Like not satisfied, which is good. There's definitely there's room for that. But I was just curious because it does feel like it's been a long time.
I think there was just so much things riding on this one game. We talked about it in the preview game going into it, that if they lost this football game, this might go to the point to where they fire Sean McDermott, where they decide like maybe this is just not enough. Maybe they're going to listen to the narrative of if it wasn't this year, then when, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there was just a lot riding on this game. Now you win this one. Now you have to go and take on the Broncos at home, which I've been very transparent on this show, how I feel about the Broncos. I think that they might be the worst number 1 seed in the history of football. I just don't believe in the Denver Broncos. I don't. Yeah. I truly don't. I don't think that team is anything worth writing home about. I think every team left in the field, including the Steelers or the Texans, whoever win tonight, could beat the Broncos and move on. So if I'm the Denver Broncos and I'm like, yes, I got a week off, what am I getting rewarded with? Oh, I'm getting rewarded with a Josh Allen Buffalo Bills team that just did what they had to do. Four lead changes in the fourth quarter, overcome an AFC South winning champion Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, a first win for that team since the 90s, since they went to the Super Bowl. Oh, that's what I get for my reward? Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Yeah, if I'm the Broncos, I'm shaking in my boots.
No, this was a fun win for the Bills. It absolutely felt like just they needed this one. I agree with you 100%. When you look at the history of the Bills in the last few years, it just felt like there was a lot riding on this game. And in this game, my main takeaway was like, gosh, this Jags team feels really good. Like they are really pushing back. They're giving the Bills something to kind of to chew on here. The win probability was all over the chart here. And so if you want to dive into like specific reasons why here, there, or the other, I just felt like the Bills earned this one is what I'm trying to say. This Jags team was not just like, a wild card win. It wasn't like the Bills won in their first round. Good for them. This was a earned win. And this is going to give, I think, the Bills some momentum going into that Broncos game. I agree with you. I don't think the Broncos are the best team of all time. But I think that they're a legitimate 1 seed, right? Like they are still a formidable opponent, and the Bills with some momentum going into that game has to feel good. It feels like they did what they had to do. When you look at the stats, they're not crazy, but the Bills got enough done, and this could be their year. Sometimes you just have to do enough. And I was a big fan of the way the Bills put this game together, came away with some big plays at the end. I wasn't a huge fan of, you walk in with a minute to go, but then you end up with an interception to ice the game. Trevor Lawrence obviously off a tip, but the defense shows up big time, and that's all you can ask for. I thought that was a huge win for the Bills, and obviously an exciting game. But I'm looking forward to this game against the Broncos 100%. Hey, quick timeout. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below. We're live literally every morning during the week talking about the biggest stories in sports. So you hitting subscribe is completely free and helps us out more than you know. It's a win-win all around. All right, back to the clip.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a chip on their shoulder for the Broncos, too, because there's only been one playoff game for Bo Nix in his history, and it was last year against the Bills. Wild card round, the Bills smoked them 31-7. So the fact that now the Broncos are a number 1 seed, they're riding high, maybe they're going to be taking that as some ammo and hold on to it. Who knows? On the flip side, though, Jacksonville, heck of a season. Hell of a season that they had. I mean, with bringing Jacoby Myers in, great addition. Liam Cohen, what he's done in year 1, what they've done in year 1. Trevor Lawrence back. I mean, the questions about is Lawrence a franchise quarterback, that they've answered that question. Yes, he is. He's the quarterback of the future for as long as he wants to be there in Jacksonville. And they did all of this without Travis Hunter. So you have to assume that they're only going to get better next season. I like where Jacksonville's sitting right now. I like their front office. I like their ownership. I like their head coaching. I like the direction. If I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I feel very good about the future of that franchise.
Yeah, of course, losing in the wild card round stinks because you get, all these wins, you amass, 13-4, you get to the wild card round, and then you fall short. And now where are you at draft stock wise, right? Like you didn't even really get much of a playoff.
Well, they traded their first round pick to move up to Hunter, so it doesn't matter.
Right. It's just, I feel like for Jags fans, there's just that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that. That's just how I viewed it. But I think what you've seen from this team, without obviously the future of the draft, is what's most exciting. Is Trevor Lawrence does feel like he's answered the bell. For a few years, it's kind of been, is he really capable? Like, are we still like looking at high school tape or Clemson tape where he was this, child of destiny? Like he was the next coming of Tom Brady. Obviously, it's not the comparison people have been making, but you get what I'm saying. Like everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was the guy for so long. Is he really the guy or not? I feel like he's actually proven it here in this win. You mentioned they've got guys sitting on the bench that are going to make massive contributions next season. There's not too much to not love about this Jags team. Of all the teams that lost, this is the one that I feel the best about. And I have to imagine Jags fans are super excited. Like they're happy, I feel like, with how this season went to an extent too. Like as disappointing as it is to lose in the first round, I didn't have them going 13-4. Like I feel like there's definitely an element of we accomplished a lot and there is still more to be excited about. So I'm excited for the Jags. I want to see what they do next season.
Before I give you today's stat of the day, I have to ask you a question, a little pretext to it. Do you believe that records are all records are equal? And what I mean by that is if a team is 10-7 and another team is 10-7, does that mean that they're both exactly the same good team?
I would have to say no, they are not exactly the same.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear. I'm going to tell you this. Today's stat of the day, the record is 35-33. That is the same exact record that all teams in Florida have since 2022. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Miami Dolphins since 2022 are all 35-33. If I were to tell you that, and you talk about those 3 teams, they are 3 teams going in different directions.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the trajectory is very different. It feels a little bit like an Atlanta Hawks stat. Like they're just over the last 300 games are 150 and 150. Just like
I'm thinking of like the Spider-Man meme of you like pointing in different directions. That's what I'm thinking. But like, come on, Jacksonville is in a way better trajectory compared to Miami by far. Tampa, I think, is just like sitting stall. They're stalemated, especially with bringing Todd Bowles back. And then who knows what Miami's going to be. But for some reason, since 2022, these teams, all 3 teams in Florida, Tropical storm, exactly the same is what that one's going to be called. 35-33. That's wild, isn't it?
That is kind of crazy, but you're exactly right. It's all about the trajectory. Like, it feels like the Jags are on the way up and they've got something cooking. This wasn't a one-off year. And then I don't know if the Dolphins are even going to have a franchise next year. And then kind of the Tampa Bay is just sitting right there in the middle. Like, we're up, we're down a little bit. We'll see what happens as far as over the next 6-8 months. But man, this Jags team, they are better than that record shows right now, if you ask me. Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching the entire video. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe down below. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring better content to you guys every single day. We're live literally every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Eastern talking about the biggest stories in sports. So if you haven't dropped by, you really should. We love interacting with chatters, hearing your guys' opinions. You could easily become a part of the show. So hit subscribe and tell a friend. I'll see you in the morning.